Hello, hi, how are you? Welcome to Tampon Talk with Mary. Welcome to the show that only airs once a month. Quick story. I have to share I have to share an update from a previous episode. Is that I talked about I was in a show where I had to wear my director's wedding dress, and I was about to get my period for a show, and it was terrifying and it was horrible. But for the first time, I think in Tampon Talk history, there was no mishap. I didn't bleed in her dress, and it was all good. I told her afterwards, and that I was really like treading close to the fire, but it was all good. No blood in there, and the show went well. The stream's available online if anybody wants to watch the very beautiful, elaborate wedding dress I was in and how I was actively bleeding in it. So, anyway, that's pretty cool. But I'm super, super excited because I have a really wonderful woman and a wonderful guest on the show today who, my mom has been on the show, but she's got us connected again. Shout out to Lisa. She connected me to this wonderful woman named Rena. Hello, Rena. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Mary?
I'm good. So just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I live in Maryland, and I'm a peer support specialist at a local hospital here, which basically means that I work with people in the intensive outpatient program in substance abuse. And I also contact people who have experienced overdoses from drugs and try to encourage them to get some help.
Which is awesome. We we love the recovery community on Tampon Talk. We actually had Caitlin Smith from your office on the show. Well, she's not like from the office necessarily, but she's kind of friends with the staff not too long ago to talk about recovery. But we love the recovery community, so that's awesome.
It certainly is.
Yeah. Kind of segueing into it is that I certainly just talked about an embarrassing period story. I had a happy ending, but I do invite my guests to share the same. So I was wondering if you had a tampon terror story or a pad problem or a, diva cup dilemma, whatever your, thing may be from your youth, if you had a story to share.
My story didn't actually happen to me, but it happened to a friend of mine who was also my classmate. I hadn't quite started my cycle yet, so I really didn't know a whole lot about it. I was raised in a home where the discussion did not happen. And I sat behind my classmate, my friend, and she has this beautiful white pantsuit on. And there might have been 3 or 4 of us girls in the classroom, but that was it. The rest of it was all guys. And she waited, and I realized that she was fidgeting around a lot in her seat and stuff, but I didn't understand. I didn't understand what was going on. And finally, she gets up, walks over to the teacher, and asks to leave the room. But when she gets up, her outfit from the waist down was red.
Oh, no.
The boys in that classroom were absolutely horrible to her. You can just imagine some of the comments that were made. And I felt so embarrassed for her. She was such a nice girl. I would have been embarrassed for anyone.
Yeah.
But she was really just a nice girl. And for that to happen, and I was like, oh, that could be me. That could be me. So when I finally did start having my cycle, that's when I became like, okay, I have to make sure that I don't have an accident. I have to make sure it doesn't happen. I have to make sure. And so that just made me more aware when I did start my cycle to be very, very careful at all times.
Oh, God. But, high school, I think we can all say, middle school boys, high school boys, they could be so mean. Like,
oh, they can.
Oh, God.
They can. Well, high schoolers in general, even girls can be very, very mean to other people.
Yeah.
To other girls.
No, that's so true. Yeah, which is like, I think kind of encouraging a dialogue where, you know, women should be getting along with other women because, you know, society doesn't want us to, in a way, you know? And it's like trying to put that into the high schools, because I definitely remember going through that as a kid, of just having girls be mean to me and boys be mean. So it's like, well, let's just like take out one of these equations, you know?
And I had 3 older brothers. I didn't have any sisters. So I had a very, very limited amount of sisterhood, but I had a whole lot of torturehood out of the brothers.
Oh, God. Did they, this is kind of going off, it's a side question, but so they never got like a conversation about like periods or like anatomy and that kind of stuff? Like, was there ever a talk in your home?
No, there really wasn't. My grandmother was Pennsylvania Dutch, and she raised me from the time I was probably about 5 until I was 15. So there was never talk of it. It was just one of those subjects that was never spoken about. When it did happen, I can clearly remember her in a room full of family members pointing out to my father, because he was going to town, you know, there's a New Freedom, Pennsylvania. She was telling him what kind of pads to look for in the store, because at the time there was a company, a pad name called New Freedom. So she wouldn't even take him to the side or anything, or tell him, hey, this is what she needs.
Yeah.
You know, there's a New Freedom, Pennsylvania.
Oh, no.
She was very, very strict. I was probably 15, 16, before I was allowed to wear something other than a dress in her house.
Oh, wow.
So,
I mean that is pretty strict.
Until I was, and actually, I just kind of always tried to abide by that, even as I became an adult. If she wanted me to wear dresses, that's what
I think that because my grandmother probably came, I think, out of that generation, or was just below that, probably. Like the baby boomers, like that went to Woodstock, and yeah. So I think my mom kind of grew up in that strictness, but nothing like that, where it was coming down to how you need to like present yourself, you know?
Yes.
But something that you had mentioned, and that we had actually just mentioned offline, and something we've talked about on the show, is stigmas. And that's something, yeah, like something that we deal with. But we haven't really talked about communities or situations that are affected by multiple stigmas. So we had someone that came on that's affected by the stigma around people that are sober or want to live a life of sobriety. But one that's very often overlooked, and including within, in my opinion, the period community, is women that menstruate in jail. And I was connected to you just through my mom because of experiences that you have, and I was wondering if you could give us a bit of insight into the prison's relationship with women that menstruate, just like a little backstory, or like what you've seen, like that kind of stuff.
Okay. I was incarcerated for 5 years, from 2012 to 2017, for domestic violence. And I was very surprised the first month when an officer and a temporary resident, as I like to call them, would push a box around to every doorway, and 4 packs of pads were thrown into the room. 2 for each lady. Now, if that lady ran out that month, she could beg, she could ask, she could plead, but it depended on who the officer was, whether she was going to be able to get another pack of pads. They did have access to tampons, commissary. However, they were so expensive that unless the temporary resident had someone to support them and give them money, then it was very hard for them to be able to buy these boxes of tampons. The argument most of the officers usually were given was that there wasn't any, that they didn't have any. And it always just astounded me that an institution, the only women's institution, state institution in my state, wouldn't have wouldn't have pads.
Yeah.
And another argument they gave a lot was the fact that the women would use the pads to clean their floor or to clean their bathroom facilities. Well, what else were the women supposed to use to clean their housing area?
Yeah. What?
So it was just always very difficult to get sanitary napkins while you were in there.
Because, yeah, I think something that I think when we were talking offline about it is basically that people tried to help with getting more menstrual products in there, like churches or institutions and stuff. But I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that, as like people's maybe efforts that you've seen of trying to get those products in jail.
Well, they have local churches who donate items to the institution. Every Christmas, it'll have a puzzle book and it'll have an ink pen. They have been known to hand out makeup. No, it was never anything really expensive, but it was little things to make a woman feel good about herself. And it was a gift. Well, these institutions, these churches, asked on several occasions if they could donate sanitary napkins to the prison system. And the churches were always told no, that they weren't able to accept them. Now, I believe that they couldn't accept them because of the threat of contraband. But they were needed.
And it's also, like, you'd have to question the source. Is a local church going to really try to, like, put in things that are banned in jail through pads in a jail? Like what is the likelihood of that? Especially if they've had a consistent track record of donating, like you're saying, like around Christmas or something during, in the past. So that doesn't make sense to me.
It was these churches that donated had a system where they would come in every other, like maybe once a month or once every 2 months. Mm-hmm. They would come in and have church services for us. So for them to do something foolish like bring contraband in would have meant that church couldn't come in and bring services anymore. So that was highly unlikely that they were going to do that.
Yeah, what? Because then I guess the other thing too is that if you're bringing in you're bringing in ideas and things that keep you free in there, but like with bringing in menstrual products, is that they'd have to be touched and checked with all the guards, and then is that even sanitary to have in your use for your period, to use for your body anymore, because so many people have touched that? It's it feels like there's a loss of dignity for people in there that menstruate.
Well, there is. There really is. When I think about it, the pads and the sanitary napkins would have come in a bag. They would have come in a pack.
Yeah.
They had already been sealed. So it wasn't even like the churches would be bringing in an item that they had already put something in there, or that they could have put something in there.
Right.
Because honestly, the bags, the packs of sanitary napkins could have been looked at. Okay, there's no way if something else was put in here, this can go. if there was a hole in the bag, I would have understood why they couldn't have accepted it.
Yeah. I mean, I assume it would be the same case with like a homeless shelter, for example, just for it to be, clean. But for them to say that they can't take it, or that for you to hear that the state doesn't have any more or something like that, is just, to me, it makes me question like what was really happening and why were they saying that. Is it because I don't know, I see that as like a almost a power thing, is that for a woman to have dignity in jail and for someone to be in a position where they can lessen that dignity, it's almost like this awful desire for power that shouldn't be there.
The dignity comes also in the line of when a woman is in her cycle, the woman always wants to take a shower. Mm-hmm. Women, just, that's the thing. We want to be clean.
Yeah.
And it's even more of a necessity and more important and vital for a woman to be able to have a shower during her cycle.
Yeah.
And in the institution, you're giving certain times where you can have a shower. So if a woman has an accident in the middle of the night, she has to just either wash the sheets in her sink and try to hang them up, or if she does happen to have a second set of sheets and it's not her wash day, then she can't have the laundress wash her sheet. But the woman also doesn't have that access to just say, "Excuse me, officer, I've had an accident. Can I go get a shower?"
Right.
That woman's going to have to wait until 4:30 for somebody to unlock the door so that they can get a shower before they can go to work.
Mm.
That really hurts the dignity of a woman. Is the best way I can say that.
Yeah. Because that's something like that, again, falls on even just your rights as a citizen. Is that sure, you're in jail for, I don't know, breaking the law or whatever it was, but that doesn't take away the liberties and the things that you have, like things that you have a right to, like you have a right to be clean during your period, and that is treating you less than human in there, which is not the point of a correctional facility.
And it all brings to mind, there was a lockdown, and lockdowns could happen for up to 72 hours. And actually, I was at church that night, and when I went back to my housing area, we were locked down. I had no idea why. No idea why we were locked down. I just knew that we were locked down. And after about the first day, it might have even been the first day that we were locked down, I had an officer come to the door, and I told her, I said, "Are we going to get showers today?" And she told me no. So I told that officer, I said, "That's not right." I said, "We are women."
Yeah.
I said, "It is unsanitary and unhealthy for women to not be able to get a shower."
Yeah.
And she just looked at me and shook her head, but she understood. And I said, "Can I please speak to the lieutenant?" And she says, "No." I said, "Well, can I at least write the lieutenant a note?" And each building had a lieutenant that was the governor of that building. So I wrote a note and I gave it to her. I said, "Can you please make sure the lieutenant gets this?" And I told her, once again, it is unhealthy and unsanitary for a woman to not have access to a shower.
Yeah.
And I was actually, because of that note, I was actually able to get access to showers for 112 women.
Wow. That's incredible.
Now, we were given limited time to get your shower, and they were like 2 rooms would be open for their showers, and then another 2 rooms would be open for their showers, and another 2 rooms. But at least all of the women had the opportunity get a shower.
Yeah. Because I especially, like, I don't, it's so hard for me to see, like, why not? Like, why shouldn't you have a shower? You know, like, what would be the reason not? It, like, these basic human things that you should have, like the period products, the shower, you know, meals, like things that make you a woman and make you human. Like, for even for someone's initial thought to be to deny that just blows my mind.
My argument was always, because the women are always treated, usually by the female officers, but not always.
Mm.
You're always treated as if, well, you put yourself here, you put yourself here. Mm. And I used to tell a lot, usually the female officers, what happened to me could happen to you. And I used to point that out to them. And I used to tell them, it probably is happening to some of the officers that work here.
Yeah.
How can you mistreat someone because they're here?
Yeah. Because it's, I think that because this opens a whole nother dialogue of just, again, coming back to stigmas, is that people who are incarcerated and that stigma placed on them by an outside world that maybe even continues to do the same kind of awful things. I mean, it's something that I imagine you see in the recovery community, where it's people that work really hard to live a life of sobriety, and that's something that should be admirable and, you know, should be appreciated, because that's a difficult thing to do if you have, like, addictive tendencies. But society doesn't welcome those people, and it's the same thing with people who have gone to jail, is that a lot of them end up back there because it's just so, we're not focused on the point of jails, which is to correct bad behaviors and acclimate a better member of society, at least in the eyes of the law, you know?
There's that stigma.
Yeah.
They're always told, you put yourself here. You put yourself here. You're told, this is a prison. This isn't a hotel. Well, supplying women with pads, supplying women with the basic hygiene items that they need, supplying women with showers, it shouldn't even be a privilege. That's a necessity.
Yeah.
My other comment was always, well, if you can't afford to take care of me, then send me home where I can afford and other people can afford to take care of me.
Yeah, like, I think that's a great point, because why keep you in there if they keep arguing that they're not, you know, doing the point of a jail, or that you can't meet the bare necessities?
The recidivism rate is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't recently checked up on what the statistics are, but I do know that it is still terrible.
Yeah.
I still women come back. And I always wonder why. You know, isn't it enough for you that you have to come back again?
Yeah, and I think we have the highest incarceration rate in the world. Is that we have more people sitting in jail than all of the countries that are larger than us, or everybody to get, like, it's just, that's crazy to me. And there's other jails in other countries that are very different from ours, and I think it's just again, like, it's stigma, is that what the American society has deemed what is appropriate for people that have made a mistake, or people that have made a mistake and want to change their life, or that need help. But most of, like, coming back to, like, the sobriety community, where certain AA programs are coming out of jails, and, like, lots of people who are in jail, like, need those programs. In almost the same way that women need pads. Like, these are necessities.
And they do. They do have those programs. But you just, once you're incarcerated, you're constantly told, you can't have this, you can't have that, you can't have this. We don't have the money to supply you with sanitary napkins. We don't have the money to supply you with tampons. We don't have the money for this. We don't have the money for that. But I honestly do not care what you did to be there. You're still a human being, and you still deserve to be treated like a human being.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's already a hard enough situation to deal with without it being made worse by denying people and denying women the necessary items.
Yeah, absolutely. But it kind of, and then something that comes with talking about this topic is how, what is the next thing that we do? And I don't know, based on, say, your experience or things that you've seen within the prison system, do you see any way that people that are on the outside, or people that who have just come out of jail, like, is there something that we can do about this issue, or do you have any ideas of what to do?
I believe that the institution should be willing to take donations from the churches.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of programs that go into the institution. You were talking about recovery. AA goes into the program, into the institution. NA goes into the institution. The churches, there are so many churches that have Bible studies there weekly. So many churches that go in for church services. There are every religion, or should I say the major religions, the bigger religions, all have access to their services. Mm. There shouldn't be any reason why, if the churches are willing to donate sanitary items, that they shouldn't be allowed to. It might take a few minutes to go through some boxes of sanitary items to make sure that the packs are sealed shut. But it should be worth it.
Yeah.
It not only would be helping the women, but it would be helping the institution. And it would be helping the Department of Corrections. It would be saving them money in the long run, because the pads, the sanitary napkins that the women are receiving, through the churches, the institution's not paying for. Mm. I feel like the money should be budgeted better. The money that the institution receives, I believe that an outside source, like a higher up source, should be looking at that money and saying, okay, this much is to be used for this. This amount of money is to be used for this. And budget the money out better, so that when the prison is saying, we don't have the money for this, we don't have the money for that, well, why don't you? Where did that money go?
If that's the true issue, if it's a money thing.
I understand why they don't want to take money from families and stuff like that. I can understand that completely. Because family members have been known to go in there and try to smuggle drugs in to their daughters, or to their wives, or to their friends. So I can understand why they wouldn't want family members to donate sanitary napkins. But there is no reason why churches shouldn't. People who have already proven their reliability and their dependability and their honesty,
yeah,
I don't see why they can't.
Because, yeah, it's kind of exactly what you're saying, is that if they have come in and brought only good things, like religious services or other gifts around, like, that make you feel more like a woman, like just the get, like, makeup, like you said before, or anything like little puzzles and things, is that why shouldn't they be trusted or allowed to bring in period products, which adds to that being able to feel the dignity of being a woman? It's just...
It's humiliating to have to beg for something that you need.
Yeah.
It's humiliating to be told, no, you're not allowed to be a woman right now. We can't afford to give you a sanitary napkin, so you're not allowed to be a woman. We have no control over that.
Yeah.
Something that goes along with that is some women have, I want to say, more severe issues with their cycles than other women. And so it goes back to the money. If that woman doesn't have the money in her commissary to buy ibuprofen or Tylenol or something to ease her pain while she's going through her cycle, yeah, she can put in a sick call to see a doctor, but she might not see that doctor for a month, depending on how backed up they are.
Yeah,
and I experienced this personally myself. An officer had to lie to the nurse and tell the nurse that I was having chest pains because I have asthma and I had a really bad cold and I felt terrible. And I wanted to see the doctor. The officer lied. I wanted to see the nurse. The officer lied to the nurse and told her that I had chest pains just to be able to get me over there to see the nurse.
Wow.
So if that doctor has to lie, if that nurse has to lie, the officer has to lie to a nurse over something like that, you can imagine how easy it is or not easy it is for someone to get over there for cramps.
Yeah. Like it's not seen as a priority.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't believe the women are seen as a priority at all in it.
Yeah. I mean, it does certainly sound like it. I mean, if there's, say, the issues just outside of jail of women just talking about periods or period pain, or anything that women have to go through in a society of ours that we live in, it's like amplified in a jail. And that's just not right.
Because that stigma is there.
Yeah.
I had an officer who was going up for a promotion. And she told me that she wasn't, I asked her, well, how did you make out? She told me that she wasn't sure that she was going to make it to get the promotion. And I said, why? She says, well, because when they asked me what my goal was for my job, she said, I didn't tell them that it was to make sure that all women were in line or that all women behaved well or this was done or that was well. She said, I told them that my job was to help every woman learn the skills to go back into society and be a productive member of society. But she was afraid that she was not going to get her promotion because that's what she told them.
Which is literally the point of jails. Like, that should be getting her promoted. Like,
yeah, that should be. But too many of the officers look at it as we're supposed to punish them. We're supposed to punish these people. Denying women sanitary napkins, hygiene items, is not punishing a woman. That is inhumane.
Yeah.
That is the best way for me that I can even think of to describe it, is that's inhumane.
Yeah. And I think just what we're doing now, just bringing the conversation forward is certainly the first step. I think there's certainly not enough people that know how truly bad the situation is, including myself. Before being able to talk to you, there was not enough information available in this world that we live in, where everything is almost accessible, that I could find maybe 4 or 5 articles about women who menstruate in jail and what they go through, and that was it. There was not a lot. And I think that this is also the first step of bringing more attention to this issue, is having conversations like this. Because, it comes back to what we were talking about, is the stigma. is that it's so strong and so prevalent, and multiple stigmas of like people that go to the jail, people who menstruate, having like, or mental health, that's another stigma, just putting it all into, there's multiple layers of things that people don't want to talk about in just this one issue. But like I'm so glad that you came on, and I'm so glad that you're telling us your story, because I don't think people would have gotten it otherwise.
I feel honored that you asked me.
Just,
and it is a ugly subject, and unfortunately, too many people in society. Well, it's an ugly subject, so I just won't think about it. It doesn't exist. Well, unfortunately, the ugliness does exist, and unless we face that fact and try to do something about it, then it's going to continue to exist.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
You know, ugliness just doesn't go away if we want it to.
Yeah. It has to be dealt with. Yeah. That is,
you know.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just kind of like sitting in what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if it was that easy, the world would be a whole lot better place. Yes. Oh, well, I just want this ugliness to disappear, and it does. But it's not that easy.
No. And you have to get through the ugly to, you know, get to the better thing, you know, afterwards. And it's, I don't know, we haven't
Maybe
even
the
gotten...
world needs more empathy.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a whole lot of people who have no empathy at all. And what could happen to one person could happen to everyone.
Yeah.
There are many people who go through domestic violence and experience domestic violence.
Yeah.
And they don't fight back. Well, eventually they're going to snap and fight back. With the recovery issue, you know, it could happen to anyone. Addiction is not a prejudice issue. It could happen to anyone. So we need to, you know, instead of wishing things, well, I just hope it will disappear, we need to help people and be empathetic and be understanding.
Yeah.
You know, I was incarcerated with an opera singer.
Oh, wow.
You know, I was incarcerated with many women from different walks of lives. So it's something that has affected everyone.
And I think I think you're totally right. It's because the world needs empathy. Allows you to see that, you know, what if I was like them, or can people see my trouble because, you know, what if they were in my shoes, or vice versa? And like, the world needs more empathy.
Yes, they do. They certainly do.
Well, and I would say, do you have any final thoughts? That is an excellent thing for people to take away. But let's just say if we wanted to kind of boil down what we talked about, and what do you think is like the takeaway message that people should get from your story, our conversation, that'll help change things and maybe put more empathy in the world?
Be more understanding. Treat everyone the way you want to be treated. And no matter who it is, no matter what they've been, treat people the way that you want to be treated. If there's some way that you can help someone, don't be afraid to ask. Try it. If you have a problem, don't stop until you get the answers that you want, until you get the help that you need. I feel like the churches that try to donate money, I feel like maybe they give up. Or they try to donate sanitary napkins. Maybe they give up too quickly or too easily. Just, you feel something passionately about something, stand up for it and stick.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because that could be factoring into it too, and that you need the radicals that are passionate enough to continue fighting.
And there are women in there who need help. Yes, they are there, but that doesn't mean that they don't. So they're still.
This makes me want to run into the jails and like make them take my menstrual products. Like I guess let's say if any listeners know any connections to organizations that try to get period products in jail, we need them to scream and shout. Like, we need to get this message out. Because it's just not prevalent enough.
It really isn't.
But, yeah, so thank you so much for coming on, Rena. I mean, I feel I wasn't aware of more of things that I could be doing as an individual to fix this problem. And I didn't know the scale of the problem until you were able to share your experience and your story. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I'll close out the show, but I would love to thank you again offline. But yeah, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
And Tampon Talk listeners, if you feel really passionate about this, and if you think that there should be more dialogue generated around this issue, if you think that there should be getting these women access to menstrual products that when they need it, and giving them showers and honoring their dignity, if that's something you feel passionate about, spread it everywhere. I mean, we're in a world where everything's accessible, but suddenly pads aren't. So like, spread it out on social media. Tell your friends, your family, bring awareness to this issue. And when you do, let us know. We want to continue to help with this fight for women in there, because they have these dignities and rights that they deserve as human beings that aren't being honored in jails, clearly. Find us on social media, and we'll be sharing that with you too. So we're on Facebook, Tampon Talk with Mary. You can like us there. We're on Twitter and Instagram. We're Tampon Talk W Mary on both of those. If you have any questions or comments or things or thoughts, share them my way. Share them over here. I would, if Rena, if you're open to it, if I get any emails, I would, if it's cool with you, I'd love to send them or at least send the messages your way if people have thoughts or anything on the episodes. I don't know if you'd be open to that, but
sure, not a problem.
Cool. So there you go. And you can email us at tampontalkwithmary@gmail.com. So we'll be there. And if you're listening, keep on bleeding. It's gonna be okay. If you are moved by this and you want to help, do it. Your voice is loud, and we're here with you. And we need the radicals in the movement and people that are going to continue to fight. So if you can, do it. Full charge. Anyway, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on Tampon Talk with Mary.